Hey, 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 it is 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Dr. Kre and Me show. Thanks for being patient with me last week as I was trying to get ready for my Talk of Alabama appearance on ABC 3340, talking about my recent book, 10 Commandments of the Working Wife. So thank you. Sorry I missed last week. Hey, Tanya. Sorry I missed last week, but it was with very, very good intentions. I know that it's spring break, so we're going to give everybody about 3, 4, 5 minutes to get in and get situated, and then we'll get started. Don't forget, when you get into the chat, make sure to say hello and to say where you're watching from. Okay? Here in Birmingham, a lot of the schools are on spring break, so it may be a little bit quieter. Maybe people are at the beach having a good time. Hey, Ava. Thank you so much. So we are going to talk tonight about 3 symptoms of stress that can make you sick. Like 3 things that you know if you're getting so stressed, like, oh my gosh. And we have to be mindful that stress is a killer. A lot of times people don't believe that, but it is very well true. So have you guys had a great day today? It's been busy here. My parents are here in town visiting. When you get here, don't forget to say hello and where you're watching from. We want to be able to greet you and say hello and thank you for joining in for tonight's edition of Dr. Kre and Me. Yes, in Alabama, it is spring break here, so we may have a smaller than usual crowd, but I just wanted to kind of give you a couple of little tips. Hey, Miss Jacinta, how you doing? I am going to be talking about 3 symptoms or 3 side effects of stress, if you will. So that's what we'll be talking about. Have y'all had a good day today? Do you guys work where quiet, relaxing, and a great spring break day? Oh, that's really good. My day wasn't that bad. It was kind of busy. Spring break is kind of hit or miss. Either everybody shows for their doctor's appointments or they don't. But it's rainy, drizzly here today. So I'm thinking maybe like Wednesday and Thursday, people may not be showing up. I never can tell what's going to be happening. We are closed on Friday for Good Friday in celebration of the Good Friday holiday. Easter is my second favorite holiday. Christmas is my first. So we are closed this week if you are a patient of brownstones. So I'm going to be going to my hometown, and we'll be spending Christmas at my dad's church. And so Easter. We'll be spending Easter there with them. Let's see. Hey, Miss Lisa Fields, how are ya? So I am going to, hey, Andrea, how are you? You on spring break? You enjoying your spring break? So we're going to get started. What time is it, y'all? It is 7:04. Hey, Dr. Pam. Hey, Montez. I was just saying that kind of giving a little housekeeping and letting everybody get situated. This will be a quick one. We are on spring break here in Birmingham. So y'all may be a better crowd because you are relaxed and you're not trying to drive to get home from work and heavy traffic. Traffic this morning was real smooth. This evening was really a little heavy. So, you know who I am. I'm Dr. Kre. I am your board certified family medicine physician, and I specialize in what's important to you through my Facebook Lives like this, through my awesome practice here in Birmingham, Alabama, family medicine. I help you live healthier, happier, just whole lives in general. So I look forward to kind of chatting with you tonight and then letting you get on to a stress-free week. Hey, Nicole, how you doing? So it's spring break. So everybody, it may be going one or 2 ways. So it's either super relaxing because you don't have to work. But if you have kids and their school is out too, you may be a little stressed out because you got to figure out something to do with your kids for 10, 12, however, 24 hours a day for a whole week. Okay, so if you are finding yourself stressed out this week, don't fear. We're going to make sure that you kind of relax, relate, release in our best Whitley Gilbert voice. So anyway, here we go. 3 signs that stress can cause you to have an illness. So stress is a precursor to a lot of diseases. People don't really want to believe that. I wanted to also thank you guys for watching me last week on ABC 3340. Hey Glenda, 3340, as I talked about my book, 10 Commandments of the Working Wife. If you've not gotten your copy, get yours. And I'm talking about my conference coming up in June, Wifeology. I was talking about that with Nicole Allhouse, and we're so excited. But the premise is that you don't have to be so super stressed. A lot of you on here are working wives or working mothers, so you know how easy it is for stress to kind of keep up. Hey Maggie, keep creeping up on you. So if we can do some things to help feel better about ourselves, then let's do that. So number one, what are some illnesses that stress can be attributed to? Number one, somebody write in the chat, heart attack. Yes, heart attacks can be caused by stress. So I'm not sure if you guys saw the in the news lately that there was a principal. I'm not really sure what town she was in. Hey Candace. And the principal, of course, being a principal is a very stressful job. She sat at her desk and dropped dead at her desk. So that really touched home. You know, Andrew, you in the school system. So I know you were like, oh my gosh, you know, that's crazy. But my mom is a principal and is an educator. And I'm always telling her to make sure to take time out for yourself. Yes, you love the kids. Yes, the kids are, it's a crazy day today or the next day. But you have to realize that all that stress, all that yelling, all that going back and forth up and down the hallways can attribute to stress. And a lot of times you may not be eating the healthiest. So if you are stressed out, you may become an emotional eater. How many of y'all are emotional eaters? Type in the chat, yes, I am an emotional eater. If that's you, I'm an emotional eater. I love to eat. I don't want to drop dead at work. I know that's right, Dr. Pam. Not on my agenda either, but it happens. So I was really telling my mom, I was like, you got to make sure to take time. Leave when you're supposed to. Don't stay too late. Don't go in too early. You know, that kind of thing. Because, like I said, if something happens to you, then they're going to step over you and keep on going and replace you with a different principal and go on about their business. That's true with principaling. I know of a doctor that trained me. He died last year, was just at a meeting and dropped dead. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh. So it is happening. Nicole, you're not an emotional eater, girl. You a snacker. I'm an emotional eater. Hey, Deidre. So very much so an emotional eater. Love to eat. When I'm happy, that is a happiness. We're going to go and eat. We sad, we're going to go and eat. It's Tuesday, we're going to go and eat. You know, just whatever. So stress can cause people to have tendencies like that. That's right. Life will go on without you. Yes, life will go on without you. And you put all this into whatever XYZ is, they might put a memorial up for you. They may put your picture on the wall. They may even do a bust of you outside of the school. However, it will not bring you back. So make sure that you are managing your stress well. So we'll talk about some ways that we can manage our stress. But number one, yes, stress can attribute to a heart attack because we're eating bad. So then we get high cholesterol. Then we get high blood pressure. And then these are all things that go into being risk factors for having a heart attack. So number one, stress can cause heart attacks. Number two, stress can be contributing to stroke or stroke-like symptoms. So, same difference. High blood pressure is something that can cause you to have. There's my boxer out there. He hears me talking and he is like cutting a fool outside, like throwing his bowl and everything. But anyway, so number two is strokes. So high blood pressure can lend to a person having a stroke. So what happens is you already are kind of hovering. You remember we talked about this before. Less than 140, over 80. You know, it's so. We want to be perfect. If it's less than 120 over 80, we're looking real good. But if every time you go to the doctor, hey Derek, this is for men too, right? Yes, it's for men. Yes. This is for men and women. Men are at risk of having heart attacks because of being emotional eaters and eating bad, eating all that fast food, and yes, you're at risk for having strokes. Because a lot of times, Derek, I'm happy you said something, because men, and if you all have husbands and brothers and dads, how many of them go to the doctor like they're supposed to? How many, write in the chat if you're like, oh my gosh, my husband goes as frequently as he's supposed to, or do you have to beg that man to go to the doctor? If that's you, if that's your brother, if that's your dad, if that's your husband, type in there, yes, that's my husband, because a lot of times men do not want to go. They don't want to go. They don't want to go to the doctor because they don't want to know if there's anything wrong. And by the time I get a lot of men, their blood pressures are 150s, 160s, 170s, and they're like, that's not right because I don't feel bad. And some women are the same, are likely, but women are just more prone to go to the doctor as prescribed, because when we're younger, we're put in that mode of starting to go to see the OBGYN when we're 16, 17, 18. So going to the doctor is a part of our routine. You get pregnant, you got to go every month, then every 2 weeks, then every week. Men, not so much, unless you have a job that requires a physical. You may not be going like that. So yes, Nicole, you have to you have to drag your husband Alan to the doctor. So a lot of times that's what I'm actually seeing. And by the time, hey Maya, by the time I get these guys, I check their labs. Remember, uncontrolled blood pressure affects kidney function. Got to get those paps, yes. So uncontrolled blood pressure affects your kidney function. So your kidneys begin to slow down. So I've had more times than not several young men in their 40s that are now on dialysis. They're now on dialysis because they said, oh, somebody told me my blood pressure was high about 20 years ago. And I didn't pay any attention to it. I didn't want to take those medicines because I didn't want them to mess with my man parts. Okay then, sir. There's several drugs out there that we can give you that will not mess with your man parts and will not mess up your love life. So there's that. So a lot of them get turned off because maybe the doctors aren't as sensitive to that as they should be, because that's important. I want my men to be able to live healthier lives, be whole, and to have as much sex as they want to have. Okay? And do it at an old age if they want to. So, Montez said, yes, that's my husband, your patient. I told him I'm telling on him. Yes, but he's been doing good. He's been coming like I told him. So congratulations to your husband. So thank you so much for coming like you're supposed to come. Because a lot of them won't. And then it'll be 3 years later. And it's like, well, I ran out of medicine. And a lot of doctors' offices have rules. If you're not seen within 6 months, they're not going to fill in your prescription. So let's say you go to your... Yes, Derek, yes, get to that doctor regularly. Yes. Come on, y'all, let's celebrate Derek, because that's important. If he can start a trend amongst other men, especially African-American men, that rocks. Like, it's okay to get up and go to your doctor like you're supposed to. So I salute you, Derek, for going like you're supposed to. So number one, stress can cause you to have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, which can ultimately lead you into having a heart attack. Number two, it can add to you having, hey Carolyn, having strokes. So you get this uncontrolled blood pressure. Either it's uncontrolled for so long and then your body's just like, whew, you know, that kind of thing. Or you can have accelerated blood pressure where it just shoots up because you're yelling, you're mad, you're excited. These things happen. And then, oh my gosh, you have a stroke or you have an aneurysm. Any of these things are likely from you being upset, because stress usually does not come when we're really, really calm. You know, you're stressed. I live a very high stress life, but my stress is probably overdoing it compared to somebody else's stress. So my stress compared to Montez's stress may be different. Like, whatever she do every day, I might be like, girl, I don't see how you do that every day. And she looking at me like I got 12 heads, because I'm seeing 25 and 30 people a day, having to keep all of it together, having to wear all that stuff. So your job can be emotionally trying. Back to the principal who sat down at her desk and just died over at her desk. And I'm like, okay. So make sure that if you have loved ones that are in high stress jobs, that's being police officers, that's high stress. Firefighters, high stress. Teachers nowadays, everybody's job is probably high stress. Working in the bank, high stress. Medical professionals, everything nowadays. So if you're not checking on your family, hey press, if you're not checking on your family the way you need to, just know that there could be things that's going on that are silent. So high blood pressure, that's a silent killer. People don't necessarily have to have chest pain to go along with their high blood pressure. They don't necessarily have to have dizziness or lightheadedness or nausea. You know, all of these things can happen, and they could be going on. Hey, Press, all of these things could be creeping up and creeping up and creeping up without any symptoms. So a lot of y'all have heard, hey Megan, firefighters, yes. Oh yes, how I know firsthand, regular checkups are so important. Yes, yes, yes. And it doesn't matter your age. Heart attacks and strokes can happen at an early age. It can happen in your 30s. It can happen in your 20s. Nowadays, we're not made with the same cloths as our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers and our great-great-great-grandmothers. Not the same cloth at all. Them people lived until they just was tired of living. Now we wake up and die. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, make sure to take care of yourself. So, of course, if we're eating bad, I forgot to say this earlier, if you're eating bad, emotional eater, like we all said that we were emotionally eating, we can end up getting diabetes. And diabetes puts you, being a diabetic, puts you at risk for having heart attacks, having strokes. So you have to make sure that those blood sugars are looking good, less than 120s in the morning, less than 180s 2 hours after you eat, and keeping that A1C less than 7. So I really implore you that you kind of learn to balance your stress. So, hey, we got stress here. Stress doesn't necessarily have to tip over and make all these other things bad. You can be stressed and have a decent blood pressure. So I recommend you checking your blood pressure about 3 times a week. If you're at risk for having high blood pressure, who's at risk? If you're overweight, if you're diabetic, you're at risk. If you're stressed out and have a high stress job, you're at risk for having high blood pressure and diabetes. So kind of check, if you somewhere, check your blood pressure, see how it's looking. Insurance will not pay for you to just have a glucometer because you want to check it. Unless you are diabetic, they would not pay for a glucometer. However, here's a little tidbit that a lot of people may not know, is that at Walmart, there is a diabetic meter called Rely On, and you can buy it and the supplies to go along with it over the counter. So if you are interested in what are my blood sugars, what are my blood sugars? I feel like I went to the doctor, they said that I had pre-diabetes, so I was close to being diabetic. I was hovering around the 5.8 A1C. Then yes, go get your Rely On. Excuse me, the pollen is crazy here. Get your Rely On meter, and you can just have it. If you need to check it, you can check it. You don't need a prescription. And oddly enough, a lot of times the Rely On meter and test supplies are actually cheaper than the insurance copayment. So 3 signs that stress, 3 issues that stress can add to. 1, heart attack. 2, stroke. 3, anxiety and depression. So how many of us, we get to be worrying, and then you're like, why is my heart beating fast? Oh my gosh, my heart's beating fast. I'm breathing fast. I'm getting short of breath. Oh my Lord, I'm sweating. All of this. I'm sweating. So all of those same are similar symptoms for having a heart attack. Rely On at Walmart. Thank you, Dr. Pam. Carolyn said, between November 2017 and February 2018, we've had about 9 people to die from our jobs. From heart attacks, ages 53 or younger. Whatever her job is, y'all, they stressed out. Stressful. If you're in corrections, they're stressful. If you are, like I said, policemen, they're stressful. Hey, Eve. So, like we said, number 1, stress can affect you and cause you to have heart attacks, strokes, and anxiety and depression. So let's get back down the anxiety road. So I was telling you the symptoms of a panic attack. Remember? Chest pain, your heart's beating fast, you're getting short of breath, you sweaty, all of that kind of stuff. Those are similar symptoms to a heart attack. So heart attack is a left-sided chest pain. Pain goes to your jaw. Pain goes down your arm. You sweating and can't stop sweating. Your breathing isn't right. Or your acid reflux is getting worse. All of these things. Hey, Michelle. All of these things are kind of adding to you just not feeling good. You're like, man, something up in here. Is it acid reflux? Is it chest pain? Is it anxiety? So be mindful that anxiety is a big deal, and anxiety is one of those things people equate anxiety with stress. They come in and say, "Hey, I'm just kind of stressed out lately," and then they start telling me how they feel. You're like, "Man, you're describing anxiety, or you're describing panic." So, and then of course depression. We should know by now. I've done several lives on depression, but I want to just review with you what the symptoms of depression is. One, sleeping more or sleeping less. Two, not being interested in things like you used to be, like Beyonce coming in town, you ain't trying to go to Beyonce. Or whatever it is that's happening there that men like out there impressed. Whatever y'all want to do, you're like, not today. Not today, because I just don't feel like it. I don't really have a reason. I just don't feel like going. So, what did I say? One, sleeping more or less. Two, decrease in your interest. Three, excessive guilt. Like, we all got a little guilt to go along with our nature. But if this is just like being infatuated with guilt on top of guilt, then that can be a problem. And that can be a sign that you are depressed. Having little to no energy when you used to have. Not being able to concentrate like you had been. Changes in your appetite. That's either excessive appetite or decreased appetite. And just being draggy. Like, everybody like, "Girl, what's wrong with you? Why you dragging? You just sluggish." You're like, "I don't know. I just can't get it together." So just being dragging. And of course, suicidal or homicidal. That's wanting to hurt yourself or wanting to hurt someone else. Those are the symptoms of depression. So if you get too stressed, you start to get anxious. And if you're too stressed, you can start to be depressed based on the situation that you're in. Tashika said, "I'm a witness to depression and anxiety. Stress will take you out. Do you believe stress is irritable? It is behind irritable bowel syndrome." Yes, there is a direct link between stress and irritable bowel disease or irritable bowel syndrome. So this is when people they get really, really nervous, they get anxious, and then they immediately have to go to the bathroom and have diarrhea. Like, immediately. And we're not talking about like, "Oh my gosh, I almost had an accident," and I mean like car accident, now I gotta go. It's like little small stressors. "Hey Janice, how you doing? Making an appointment, so embarrassed I haven't been to see you in a year." You better get in there, girl, because it's crazy. My schedule's booked until May or June, so we'll get you in there. Good to see you. So yes, Tashika, irritable bowel syndrome is directly related to anxiety. It is. So you have to be very mindful. These are the people that won't go places or nervous about going out because they don't know where all the bathrooms are. You seen the commercial where the lady is dressed in a brown suit and she got this colon all over her and she's like following a woman everywhere she goes. That's something that can cause irritable. That's a medicine that treats irritable bowel. So irritable bowel can cause you to go. So diarrhea, or you can have constipation where your bowels lock up. Or bless the person's heart where they go in between. So, like I said, that happens to me all the time. Yes, if you get worked up the right way, you're like, "I need to know where all the bathrooms are every time." So you just have to be mindful that there's a direct correlation between your mind and your body. So if you're stressing yourself all the time, let's find some outlets. Can we do yoga? Can we exercise a little bit more? Can we schedule some self-care time? All of these are things to kind of consider to say, how can you make your stress better? So if you're home this week on spring break in Alabama and you got a house full of kids because they're supposed to be at school and you are stressing yourself out, let's find some activities for those kids to do. The public library, they don't have to be expensive things. Remember, y'all, that we don't have to spend an arm and a leg doing stuff. We just got to get out there and do it. So 3 things or 3 illnesses that stress can cause, and that's legit. Heart attacks, stroke, anxiety, and depression. And each and one of them in their own right can kill. Of course, if you have a heart attack and the right vessel is clogged, you can drop dead then and there. Have a stroke, if it's massive, it's a bleeding stroke, you can die right there. But anxiety and depression, sometimes that's a slow death. That's you are withdrawn from all the fun things that you like to do. You're not hanging out with your family. You're not hanging out with your friends. You're going to work. You're going home. You're going to church. So be mindful if you're starting to be recluse. And you used to be the party, you know, the life of the party. And now all of a sudden you're like, girl, go on without me. Go on without me. I'm going to just watch church online. And then you realize you're not doing anything. These can be things where, these are symptoms that you need to be mindful of. So, we got our 3 symptoms. Like I said, I wanted to thank you guys so much for joining me this week during your spring break. Thank you for watching me last week on ABC 3340. It was so awesome as I was promoting my book, 10 Commandments of the Working Wife, and my conference, Wifeology, which is June 22nd through the 24th in Birmingham at the Tutwiler for the conference and retreat for working wives. For more information, check out my website, www.drkre.com. That's DOCTORKRE. You know who I am. I'm Dr. Kre, your board certified family medicine physician, and I specialize in you, and yes, you. And I want you to live healthier, happier, whole lives through my Facebook Lives, my awesome practice here in Birmingham, through my telemedicine, concierge medicine, through it all. I know I'm doing a lot, and you're like, what are you into now, Dr. Kre? Well, I'm staying in my own lane. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm living my best life. I'm loving taking care of you. But I'm also loving to help educate these other women and wives and helping them live their best lives. And they don't have to be superwomen. They don't have to be super women. You can just be like, okay, Lois Lane, she was cute. It's okay. I can be Lois. I can be Lois. You can be Lois, girl. She was smart. You don't have to be superwoman. You don't have to carry on all of the stress of the world and expect it to be okay. Stress kills, and it doesn't have to kill you. So check out my website, www.drkre.com. That's DOCTORKRE.com. And if you haven't and you're a working wife, I'm doing a webinar on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. It's for working wives only, on how to add balance back into your marriage. Hope to see you there. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Check you out. Have a good one. Enjoy your spring break. Love on those kids and get some rest. Bye.